I thought he was going to be my last customer, which was a bit ironic because after a long day in the shop, he was also my first customer. At the moment, though, I was in a bit of a fog trying to decide if the customer's shaggy hair would best be described as dishwater blonde or sandy brown. We're closed. The sign in the window says open. I haven't gotten around to flipping the sign. Well, then you're open. Okay, what's the problem? I need to make a tuba disappear. Like now. Just, how do you mean disappear? Like this. I recognized the video immediately. It was David Copperfield making the Statue of Liberty disappear. That's a pretty big effect. The tuba's a pretty big instrument. Fair point. But before we get into the how, maybe it would be best to go over the why. Tomorrow is a talent show at school. My mom says I have to play the tuba because of all the money she's been shelling out for lessons. Then why don't you just play the tuba? Are you kidding? A tuba? I'll be laughed off the stage. He sort of has a point. This was from the customer, who up until now had been watching this exchange quietly and I hoped patiently. So instead, I want to come out with the tuba and then make it disappear right before their eyes, as if by magic. Well, a vanish like that requires a lot of control on the part of the magician. You need to manage the audience sight lines, the lighting, the backdrop. Are you likely to have control of any of those factors? No. All we get to do is walk out there and perform. Well, making the tuba disappear seems to be off the table then. Wait, but that doesn't mean we still can't do something magical. It's just a matter of figuring out what that something might be. Having faced variations on this question my entire working life, I did what I always did. I crossed the store to a large floor-to-ceiling bookcase that lined one wall of the shop. The answer we need is somewhere in here. The kid had followed me while the customer stayed at the cash register, his hands still shoved deep into the pockets of his worn and faded army jacket. What does 793.8 mean? Well, my Uncle Harry has had this habit for years of lending books from the store to magicians rather than selling them outright. In his view, if they don't like the book, they will bring the book back. If they do like the book, they will come back and pay for it. How's that working out for him? About how you'd expect, which is to say, not well. And since I felt he was turning this into a lending library, I put up that sign. 793.8 is the Dewey Decimal listing for magic books in libraries. A library is a building where you can borrow books. I know what a library is. I'm just surprised that any of them are still using the outmoded Dewey system instead of the far better Library of Congress classification method. You hear the word precocious much? Now and again. I'm not surprised. I think what we need is something that makes the tuba the cause rather than the effect, so that there's a reason for the tuba. Otherwise, it just seems like an unnecessary prop. This is what we need. Harry's Magic Emporium. What's it called? It's Harry's Magic Emporium. My Uncle Harry wrote it. I remember that book. I had it when I was a kid. In addition to the tricks, there were a lot of dumb jokes in it, right? Yes, tons of them. No one loves a bad joke more than my uncle. But thankfully, no one loves a great trick more than he does either. Now, I seem to remember that he organized the book around the 13 different types of magic. The room was quiet for a few moments, the only sound being paper on paper as I scanned rapidly through the book. Do you serve crabs here? Excuse me? The patron says, do you serve crabs here? And the maitre d' says, we serve everyone, sir. Let me get you a seat. I thought it was funny long before I understood what it meant. I had that same reaction to a lot of Harry's jokes. They were like little joke time bombs set to go off at a later unknown date. Like, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. This is great. Big laughs. But can we focus on my disappearing tuba? Right. I think our best bet would be to use the tuba as a production tool of some kind, sort of like a magician's top hat. Do you only have one copy of the book? Nope. Harry has a ton of them. What if we did this? What if you came out and started to play, but only got some odd sounds out of the tuba? Like, something was stuck in the horn.
The bell.
What?
It's called the bell. The whole thing is the horn. The part you can reach into is called the bell.
The bell, whatever. What if that were the premise? You keep trying to play something with the tuba, and you get horrible sounds out of it, and you keep pulling different odd things out of the horn, the bell.
Sure, that would be fun.
Indeed. I began to search through the store, not knowing entirely what I was looking for. I knew this much. I was looking for impactful tricks designed to pack small and play big, a thing some magicians spend their entire lives searching for. Here's one you'll like. What musical instrument is found in the bathroom?
I don't know.
A tube of toothpaste. Get it? A tube of toothpaste. You should use that one.
Sure thing. I'll get right on it.
I don't know the sequence yet, but these are all things you can hide in the horn. In the bell. It took a few minutes, but between the kid and me, we structured a short but funny act that involved him pulling an impossible number of items out of the tuba, but still getting poor results every time he blew into the horn. While we worked, the customer paged through the book in his hands. Every few moments, he would let out a small giggle or a yelp of recognition at a rediscovered magic trick or a long-forgotten joke. Now, we just need a closer, a final topper. The kid and I stared at the props, silently willing them to provide the answer we were looking for. What about, one of those things? A mouth coil. A streamer mouth coil.
That will be great. I'll let the audience know that the bell is finally empty, then blow into the tuba one last time. I'll still get a horrible sound, and then I'll start pulling the streamer out of my mouth. That will kill. Thanks.
No problem. If it's okay, I'll take this book. I had one as a kid. Loved it. Really loved it. Is that all you need? Yeah, this will do. But I forgot my wallet. That's okay. Remember, this is Harry's lending library. Great. Thanks a lot.
Boy, this looks like a lot of stuff. I don't think I can afford all these props.
Not to worry. On occasion, the lending library concept also extends to magic props. And this is one of those occasions.
Really?
Come back after the show and let me know how it went. I saw him out the door and turned to head back to the register where the small bag the last customer had brought still sat by the open cash drawer. I flashed back to that moment. Was it only 10 minutes ago when he had first thrust it at me, poking what he said was a gun from the pocket of his worn army jacket? I was about to put all the money back into the cash register when a thought occurred to me. I stepped back to the shop's front door and locked it, turning the deadbolt as well for good measure. I also had the presence of mind to do the one thing I wished I had done 30 minutes earlier. I flipped the sign in the front window with such force that I nearly pulled it off its string hanger from open to closed. Because right now, I was many, many things, but open for business was not one of them. Looking for more Eli Marks? All the books in the Eli Marks Mystery Series are available in audiobook, paperback, hardcover, and ebook formats on Amazon. Or head to EliMarksMysteries.com. That's EliMarksMysteries.com.